So I think first we have to talk about the big one. I just want to. It feels good. What did we say? What did I say on the podcast? I don't have to say who's going to win, and I don't have to say who's going to score the game-winning goal because it happened. Marie-Philippe Poulin once again gets the game-winning goal. The Canadians win gold. Oh, is it not a great feeling?
Oh, it feels so good. It feels so good.
Redemption for Shannon Sabados in the shootout.
I mean, she wasn't playing, but
I know, but she had good coverage, by the way, on it.
She was really good. Yeah. Very, very good.
The women are killing it this year with the Olympics.
Not even just that. So obviously Canada beat Sweden in the Olympic soccer women. Great. Chrissy Sinclair, love to see it. Then the Canadian women win the World Championships against the States.
Right.
And now again here in the Olympics they win. And might have been the best women's team we've ever seen.
Probably.
Maybe.
I will say, I'm sure you guys saw the number. There was about 3.5 million people watching that game. Mm-hmm. The number came out.
Yeah.
At 11 p.m. at night, by the way, which is apparently was better than any NHL game has done this year, which was laughable.
Stayed up to watch it, obviously, and the medal ceremony. Because I thought they would name player of the tournament, but I went to bed at 2:17 a.m. because I'm like, okay, the medal presentation was cool because they brought out we'll get to that in a second because I think we got to talk about some of the stats coming out of this. First off, Marie-Philippe Poulin is the only hockey player, man or woman, take that in, to score in 4 Olympic gold medal games.
Wow.
3 of those were game winners, and obviously the other one where she scored in was the shootout loss. God, she's good. We'll talk about Marie-Philippe Poulin a little later herself, though. Another one I want to give out here is, let me just find the exact stat here. It has to do with Sarah Nurse, who, is she not, is it just me, or is Sarah Nurse not sort of slowly the new face of women's hockey? It just feels like she's a lot, very much always there in the side of the media. I really like her.
She has the chicken wing box. That's always a good indication.
You said that to me, yes.
Yes, with Jamie Drysdale, yeah.
Yeah. So she
needs her own Cheerio box, though. That's the thing. Connor McDavid's still in the Cheerio box. A
boring man for a boring cereal.
Oh,
I said it. So
it's the weekend.
It's the what? Oh, goodness gracious. That was awful. Okay. Anyone who hasn't seen it, so the Oilers have this thing where they post one of their players doing a parody of what's his name? He plays James Ball.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Yeah, Daniel Craig. His SNL bit of Ladies and Gentlemen the Weekend, the thing that trends on Friday every week. And it's the Oilers players doing it. And McDavid just goes, I can't even do it. It was emotionally drained. They must have done
the weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen.
The weekend.
It's the weekend.
He sounds so annoyed.
And he
knows he has to play on Saturday. That's why.
We're going against the Penguins. I'm going to lose. But anyway, he's Sarah Nurse anyway.
Yes.
A new record of most points in an Olympic tournament. Breaks Wickenheiser's record.
Crazy.
There's just so much to look at with this team and say, can we get something going here for the women? In terms of a league, I don't want to diminish what the PHF and the PWHPA is doing. I just want to see something. I want to see something put together to me, it just feels like there's this conflict that they don't want to admit that there's conflict. And I want it to soar. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's just that momentum.
Because I think
mentioning,
I think there's so many people that would watch it. I imagine, including the 3 of us. Please.
It's always when, again, it's the World Championships of the Olympic come around and we all yell about how great women's hockey is. And it disappears for 4 years. So this was a Cintiq Zero tweet I wanted to speak of, and it's going back to Sarah Nurse, but there's a reason I say it. Sarah Nurse, over the last 2 weeks, won gold for her country, recorded a record-setting 18 points in the tournament, was in every commercial I saw run during these games. She's a star on and off the ice, and this country's lucky to have her. The reason I mention that is it's just been there needs to be some change to do with women's hockey, and I think that change that everyone we've been talking about for years now is one league altogether, because it doesn't feel like the NHL are going to do anything until that happens, if they do anything. But I was watching. They obviously had normally the Hockey Night in Canada broadcast. The second intermission starts with headlines. They pushed it back to talk to Sarah Nurse, and I forget who the other player was. I feel like a dick for not remembering it. And they had personality, and you're like, I love this so much. I always remember the All-Star game the women were at, and they had their 3-on-3 showcase. Humiliated the guys. Humiliated them. You just want more of that. I want more hockey. It's fantastic to watch.
Yeah, I think you like the personality is huge. Like that's such an important first step, especially nowadays where personality is a lot in starting to grow something, and they have it. It's there. You have something to build around. You have these group of players to still build around, whether they're older or younger. They want to be there. They want something. You have we got to do something. We got to do something.
There's that level of consistency. When I mentioned the momentum, that when you have this already, when you have the familiarity of the players, of getting to know them, you want to keep running with it, and you want to keep reminding people to know that these are the people who they are. I'm just going to compare this because it's something that James Duthie has always mentioned every year when it comes to the World Juniors, where you look to the selection camp, for example, and you don't really know the name sometimes, but like he's like, oh, by the end of the tournament, it's like these players are the part of your family already. And for me, I'm like, why can't that happen for women's hockey, even on like the biggest platform, that you have it there, but then you need something to keep showing, like, the content is there to keep showing that we could get more fans out of this, because listen, it's great. There's the obvious evidence that there is a market for this. And a big thing that I've mentioned, like I've been thinking about, is what Will Baldwin said before, a few episodes before, about how the WNBA did it with the NBA. And obviously, like, that's really impossible with the way the NHL's kind of going about it. So I'm all for like making sure that these leagues still get those attentions, where even now, like, even if you could take the Olympics right now and go, hey, you had fun with this. This was an amazing tournament. How about you support them on a more daily, weekly basis?
You could even do that with the World Juniors, the NHL too. And to build on your point about the moments there, about like James Duthie saying, part of your family, it's not a Canadian or an American here, but Elias Anderson, the most notable part of his career was throwing his silver medal into the stands of the World Juniors a couple of years ago when they lost to Canada, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Good or bad, he's a household name in the world of hockey because of that incident. You know what I mean? And it should be like that with women's hockey. Before going to Marie-Philippe Poulin, because if there was one good thing to do with women's hockey, is it sounds like she's going to be around for at least one more Olympic cycle. We'll get to that and Jeff Merrick's thing on Hockey Night last night in a second. But first off, I wanted to talk about the medal presentation. So if anyone didn't see it, the way they presented the medals was they had these 3 long strips of carpet. They brought out Team Finland, and we're going to get to Finland, the men's, in a second. They won gold for that. But this is more important. They bring out the women's Finnish team, who got bronze for one strip. Canada obviously in the middle, and then the Americans for silver. What I thought was really, really nice is they didn't get Luc Tardif or the other person who was, I think, a member of the Olympic Committee, don't know her name. And they would let the players put the medal around their teammate's neck, which I thought was such a nice touch. Mm-hmm. Still tough to see the silver medalist because it's so fresh in their mind, but I thought that was a really, really nice touch. Except the stupid flowers that Luc Tardif had. And it was like, hey, do you want to hold this flower? No, because I had to put the medal around my teammate's neck. That was really awkward. But
yeah, that was, I didn't like watching that.
Cool. This is like the Americans that were really sad. Like, dude, I got to put the medal around. Leave me alone with your flower. But still, really cool idea, I thought.
Yeah. I thought it was for a safety thing. Like, you limit contact.
No, they should absolutely keep that. They should absolutely keep that.
It's clever if that's what they were doing, yeah. Because even right after the game, they're like, all right, masks, and that. So I could see that, but it's definitely it's a lot better than the way they normally do it. No stupid watches. Get rid of that, please. Get rid of that always. If you're announcing player of the game, do it afterwards. Do it a few days after. Please do it. Okay, Marie-Philippe Poulin. I've been very vocal in this podcast about if Marie-Philippe Poulin was going to be done playing, the Habs need to get on that and get her in the organization. Here's what's really interesting. The past couple of days, a report came out that the 12 Riviera Lions, who are the Montreal Canadiens ECHL team, apparently offered Marie-Philippe Poulin a contract. She turned it down. I think this was all via her agency, and invited the team to help her in the ways of growing the women's game. Then last night on the Hockey Night 32 Thoughts segment, Jeff Merrick said that it looks like Marie-Philippe Poulin wants to play at least one more Olympic cycle. And in the background, the Canadians themselves are very interested in having her in any sort of role whenever she's done. So first off, I think we should talk about the more important thing is, if there's something great for women's hockey, it's having Marie-Philippe Poulin around. That's the most important thing right now.
For sure. I think the next 4 years, for me, I think this time around, this Olympic cycle or this Olympics was a little different because it started with a Rosie DiMano, whatever opinion piece, which in a way brought the community together. And it just, maybe it's a gut feeling. For me, it just feels like these next 4 years are going to be quite important for women's hockey, and to have someone like Marie-Philippe Poulin around, of her stature around, especially if we're going to have one big league together, is going to be extremely important and is a great building block for the future generations.
Here's this very weird thing. We know that Tyler Taminia is apparently going to resign after the playoffs, the PHF commissioner. And a lot of people kind of look at, there's been a few things in women's hockey with, this person getting pushed out or whatever, this person resigning. I obviously don't know the full details of all the women's leagues as much as I should, but at some point, and this is where it's so important for those two leagues to come together, they need stability. More importantly, Marie-Philippe Poulin, some of her greatest playing career was, I think it was it the CWHL when she played for Les Canadiens, which was like that. I think it was like the Kelly Cup and no, not the Kelly Cup. That's the
Clarkson Cup.
Yeah, that's for I always get them mixed up. God damn it. But see, that's the thing is there's been multiple women's leagues, and with no stability, well, how are you going to build the game around it? We yell about Arizona and that. Well, there's the same thing. You need stability for this to work. And that's what the women's game needs. And we all want it to come together. But I'm waiting for the Rosie article to say it was all part of the plan to bring them together.
Yeah.
I deserve a medal.
We're hoping for that, yes.
Clearly
the retraction. Well, not a retraction.
The 20 years that she's had the same opinion.
You know what?
She's building the community.
She can probably just say, I was right. It was only 2-10, and she'd ignore it and all that.